Hey lovelies, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Verdie. I am a licensed nail tech, small business owner, and content creator. So today we're going to be reviewing OPI's Clarite odor and tack free system. So this is the odorless monomer. It comes with 2 powders and it also comes with a resin. I did receive this in my nail school kit. I did not purchase this personally on my own. I did receive this as a part of our kit for nail school. The 2 colors that I'm going to be swatching from the brand, one is a natural and then the second one is a crystal clear. I wanted to first start off with the quote unquote acrylic I'm supposed to be using with the system and see how that performs. I'm also going to be using some of my most used acrylics to see how it performs as well. So because this is an odorless monomer, typically with odorless monomers, they set very, very slow. So in these instances, you're supposed to work, you're not supposed to work as wet. So when I'm dipping my brush, I am removing like about 75% of the liquid from the brush. And when I'm working with the acrylic, I'm using as light of a stroke as I possibly can so that I don't disrupt the acrylic. However, that's a bit challenging. So here I'm going in with the second acrylic. This one was the crystal clear. You can see I'm patting it into place. When my brush goes off camera, that's me wiping the brush and then just getting a little bit more monomer. I do dab it on the towel when I re-wet the brush. And I am doing light strokes. However, this is sped up, so it's going to look harder, but you can't really tell how my strokes are versus if I'm using light or hard strokes because it's on film. You're not really in person or feeling the pressure, so you can't really gauge that from video, but I assure you I am using the lightest of strokes possible. One of the things that I found challenging is the fact that when I'm trying to work drier, I end up with a lot more acrylic on my brush. So now I'm going in with the resin, which is essentially like a glue. And it said to do it immediately after applying the acrylic. That's what the instructions say. And to apply light strokes. The way the brush is, it's kind of a very, very stiff brush. So it's really kind of challenging not to disrupt that acrylic while applying the resin. This acrylic I'm using now is one of the ones I always use, Speed Clear by Young Nails, because I just want to see how it performs. And I was pretty much getting the same with this acrylic as well. I'm trying to work as wet as possible. However, I'm trying to work as dry as possible. However, in doing so, I end up getting a lot more acrylic stuck in my brush. So one of the things you have to remember here is you're constantly wiping your brush and you have to use the lightest touch possible. And I've already formulated my opinion of this by this third swatch because I've worked with odorless monomers before and I personally do not care for them. It just takes too long and it's really, really hard. I don't feel like as a beginner, you need this additional challenge. This is the first time I'm ever using a resin with one. And I feel like applying the resin really disrupts the acrylic. I will say that the monomer doesn't smell like anything. I can't say anything. It does have a smell to it, but it obviously doesn't smell like monomer. The smell doesn't linger in your house. It's not a very, very strong smell. It smells like a nail product, but it doesn't smell like monomer. Now I'm going in with nude acrylic. You guys know that I use nudes a lot. Just trying to see how I'm able to apply it, as well as if I'm able to actually formulate a nail. I feel like you just put this on and just let it run down the nail. You can't really manipulate it that well. And I try to wait a little bit in between beads But this just takes so long to dry. And again, whenever I put the resin, I did try and wait a little bit before applying the resin, and it still just disrupts the acrylic. This takes, I would say, anywhere between 20 to 30 minutes to really start to set up. Not cure it completely, but just set up. It takes a very, very long time for this monomer to set up in the acrylic. That's the only other way I can explain it. It is a slow setting, which means the monomer evaporates slower. So that's why it sets up slower. So I'm using a colored acrylic, a color acrylic I always use. I am going to list the acrylics in the description box below, along with any discount codes. I'm also going to put the information for this monomer below. If you go to OPI's website, you are only able to purchase it if you have a license. However, they have it at Walmart as well online, so you can purchase it other places. So I'm doing the color acrylic now, and the camera didn't really pick up on how patchy it ended up being. Now, this is one of my favorite color acrylics that I own. I use stuff that I use all the time, so I could really tell the difference. It's just, you really can't blend. You kind of have to just let the acrylic flow down the nail, because anytime you touch it with your brush, it doesn't matter how soft you use it. Like I said, the acrylic gets in your brush. You're supposed to work drier, but the drier you work, the more acrylic that gets stuck in your brush. So I don't feel like this was a success. Is there anyone out here who has had success with extremely slow setting monomer? What are your tips and tricks? Definitely leave that in the description box. This might help someone who really wants to use monomer but can't. But for me, this was a no-go for me. I just don't feel like I would want to invest this much time into a set of nails. Like, it already takes me 3 hours to do a full set, right? So add maybe about 30 minutes before your acrylic starts to really harden and set up, even with the resin. And I'll show you at the end when I'm filing. Also, the challenge I had was adding additional layers of acrylic. So I just couldn't work with this. And, maybe there's something I'm missing. However, I don't think so. It's just not something that's for me. After applying the resin, the acrylic still moves, and it just takes a very long time to dry. So I'm like, okay, well, let's try to do a glitter ombre nail. Let's see what happens with that. And this video is sped up, so you're not getting this in real time. But I did wait a little while before adding the second acrylic to this nail, and just watch what happens. So I went back. I did go back and just test the other swatches and see if they were cured. So I'm trying to blend this, and you can see like the glitter hasn't even set up enough to just, not fully cure, but just set up enough. Like, I could brush the whole thing off the nail. And I didn't like it. I'm just going to be honest. I didn't like it. Actually, about 2 minutes in, I can literally brush off the acrylic off the nail like it wasn't even ever cured. So I'm going in and I'm filing off one of the first swatches I did, and it's very, very pliable. I don't know how else to explain it. Like, when you file acrylic, it's usually dust, but filing this, even after the resin like suggested, it still comes off kind of gummy. So that was, in my opinion, this kind of was a fail. I know OPI is a very reputable brand. I'm not trying to bash the brand or anything like that, but just this system just doesn't seem like something that is reasonably, like, you can reasonably use this unless you want to spend about 4 or 5 hours doing your nails waiting for them to cure. The resin brush is very, very stiff, so it does disrupt the acrylic. No matter how soft of a touch you use, the brush is too stiff for the way the acrylic sets up. So these are just my opinions. Would I suggest this for me, for someone who doesn't want to take that long time? No. For a beginner, absolutely not. Just because you have to, it's a different technique than using regular acrylic. And it would be easy for someone to get discouraged. Like, I've been doing nails for a while, I've been using acrylic and monomer for a while, and I was just over it. Definitely let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I would be interested to know who's tried this. If there are any tips or tricks that you guys have. I did get this in my nail kit, but I definitely will not be revisiting this product. I'll probably end up giving it away to one of my friend's daughters if they ever want to start monomer, but I would just let them know, like, hey, this is very challenging. I honestly would rather use Mia Secret than this. But anyways, guys, that's just me rambling. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Appreciate you spending your time with me, and I will see you guys soon for another video.